welcome to the Weekly Holler. I'm your host, Luke Boserman, and this week I'm bringing you a tall tale in a classic style. If Arizona has a character like Paul Bunyan, it's the cowboy High Chin Bob, the subject of a poem called The Glory Trail, written in the early 20th century by poet Charles Badger Clark. Many variations of the High Chin Bob legend exist, but one of the most exciting renditions was done by the Family Theater, an old-time radio outfit in the early 1950s. I did some digging around online and was able to locate a recording of their performance, which is excellent, and I'm happy to bring it to you today. The story is set in the Mogollon Mountains of Arizona, where Bob worked as a ranch hand. The story begins with him speaking with Polly, a girl that he loves, and also the daughter of his boss.
Why'd you ever say you was fond of me if you aimed to back out like this?
I'm not backing out, and I'm still fond of you. I'm just telling you that I don't believe you'll ever save enough money for us to get married.
Well, of course I will.
But when? After we're old and gray? All my friends are married, Bob. I'm the last.
Well, I hadn't known till this moment that you was in such an all-fired hurry.
Hurry? Why, we've been going together for almost 5 years, and you still haven't saved enough money to buy a ring and a license and pay for the honeymoon.
Well, there have been one or two emergencies come up.
There's an emergency every time someone gets out a deck of cards.
Now, Polly, a man who works hard all day is entitled to a little relaxation.
I have no objections to your relaxing, but I wish it didn't always cost us our getting married money.
Look, I tell you what. I'll start saving next payday, and in no time at all...
You said that 4 years ago.
Now, just a minute. If you aim to be unreasonable...
Call it unreasonable if it suits you, Bob, but listen to what I'm telling you. I'm giving us 30 days.
You sound like a judge.
Don't try to jolly me. I mean what I'm saying. If we can't afford to be married in the next 30 days, then we just better forget it.
No, you don't mean that. You're just saying it to scare me.
Try me.
But 30 days? Where can I get that kind of money in 30 days?
I've made up my mind. That's the way it's to be.
Now, Polly, don't get that stubborn look. I'm supposed to be the stubborn one in this pair.
I'm feeling tired, Bob. I think I'll go in.
Hey, no. Wait a minute. Let's talk some more about this.
There's nothing more to be said, Bob. Good night.
Good night, Polly. Oh, women. They don't get some fool notions. 30 days. I could never raise that much money in 30 days.
Later that night at the bunkhouse, Bob asked his friend Maverick for help.
Ain't there some way I can raise that money?
Well, it should be if we set our minds to it.
Like to think this is just a passing notion of Polly's, wasn't it? I know it ain't. She means it. Now or never.
How much money should you have?
Well, I figure I need $150, $200 to carry it off in style.
Style? Say, how stylish do you have to be?
Well, I only figured to make this maneuver once, and I want it to be complete.
Well, that kind of money appears to me a bank holdup is your only out. You know, if I wasn't such an honest critter, I think it'd help you.
Now, be serious. Polly's got blood in her eyes. She's likely to marry that silly-looking Horace Amberley if I don't come through.
Well, I've never had that much money in my hands all at once.
I might stumble onto a gold mine while I was out riding herd or fixing a fence.
Yeah, I've done a sight of stumbling myself, but it was never over no gold mine. More likely to be cactus.
Maybe I could catch me a desperado. You know, they pay big rewards for such.
Well, no desperado in his right mind would ever come up this way.
Maverick, I come to you for help, and all you've done so far is discourage.
Now, wait a minute, Bob. I want to help you, but it ain't no good you counting on gold mines and reward money.
I've lost her. That's the story. It's the first time in my life I ever let anything I wanted get away from me.
Now, wait a minute. Not so quick. We ain't exhausted the possibilities yet. Why, there must be
Maverick!
What's old Sandy got the wind up about? Quit that yelling. Me and Maverick's right in here.
Boss wants us all up in the pasture t'other side of Tin Horn Draw, Prado.
At this hour of the night, what for?
A big mountain lion struck the herd, killed 2, maybe 3 yearlings. Boss wants to track him down, so get your gear, boys, and let's hit the trail.
Bet it's the same cat that hit before. And if it is, he's a giant. All right, you boys can go to bed. There's one ordinary critter that High Chin Bob aims to lasso himself.
They went down to the pasture and took off looking in all directions for that cat. Maverick and High Chin Bob stayed close together, and after 3 hours of riding, it was clear they weren't going to catch up with the mountain lion.
Oh, he's got clean away from us, Maverick. We're wasting our time. He's sitting up on a ledge somewheres laughing at us.
Well, I ain't in no laughing mood. Oh, now.
Steady, girl, steady. Not feeling saddle sore, are you?
Sure. I'm just sore all over, inside and out. How'd he get away from us so clean?
Well, this ain't no ordinary mountain lion. This is the daddy of them all. Until we start treating him with the respect he deserves, we ain't going to tie on to him.
Just how'd you go about it?
Well, for one thing, I wouldn't turn every cowpoke and hound dog in the Mokionis loose on his trail. No, I'd set just one good man to rope him.
High Chin Bob, for instance?
Well, since you mention it, I can't think of no one better qualified.
Well, when we get back to the ranch, I suggest you just discuss this ID with the boss. I know he'll appreciate being told how mistook he's been.
I could take that line, Maverick. You know it.
Yeah, like you said, he's tricky and he's big.
I've never turned loose in nothing yet once I got a rope around him.
I don't care who ropes that cat. I'm sleepy.
You know, the man who brings in this lion is going to make a name for himself. And I'd just as soon it'd be High Chin Bob. Yeah, just as soon.
For the next 2 weeks, Bob focused on only two things: raising the money to marry Polly and roping that killer cat. After a while, the excitement died down, and the ranch hands began to hope that the wildcat had moved on. Bob began to worry about how he was going to make Polly give him a little more time.
Another piece of cake, Bob?
No, thanks, Polly. 4 is my limit. Polly, about that 30-day limit you handed me?
You just have 20 days left.
Yeah. Well, I know you just said it to throw a scare into me, because I couldn't possibly raise that much money in 30 days.
I meant exactly what I said, Bob. 30 days. And you have 20 left.
Well, give me 3 months. In 3 months, with a little luck, I can save enough out of my pay.
I wouldn't wait for luck if I was you, Bob. You counted on it before. That's why we've had to wait 5 years to be married.
Polly, I love you. Doesn't that mean anything to you?
It means a great deal, Bob. You know it does. But, well, I can't wait forever. I want a home. I want children. And you have 20 days left.
Oh, Polly.
20 days.
Bob had given up hope. He moped around, and Maverick couldn't cheer him up. One day, Bob, Maverick, and another hand named Sandy were herding cows in a pasture. There'd been a thunderstorm, and they were trying to keep the cows from getting too excited. As the storm came to an end, Bob happened across Sandy. The ranch hand had been gravely injured.
Maverick! Sandy's in trouble.
I hate him.
He's over here. What happened, Sandy?
Can you tell? Is he hurt
Oh,
bad?
he's lying on the ground. Don't look so good.
Can you tell, Bob? What hit him?
There's not much doubt of that. It was that cat.
Look at his shoulder. This is awful, Bob. Why, who'd have thought that cat would jump a man like
We
that?
gotta stop that bleeding, Maverick. And you take Sandy back to the ranch and tell him what's happened.
Whatever you say, Bob, but what are you aiming to do?
I'm going after that killer cat.
Maverick took Sandy back and fetched the doctor. Bob stayed out hunting the cat all night. He lost the trail and returned to ranch headquarters at dawn. Sandy had regained enough strength to speak, and everyone crowded around to hear the story of the attack.
Now, don't crowd in so close on him, boys. Let him get his breath now. Go on, Sandy.
I was setting my pony. I hadn't heard. Maybe I was getting mighty sleepy. Storm was over, and I was tired. My pony drifted over into the shadow.
And that's when he jumped you?
It was like a house falling on me. I felt his claws going into my shoulder and I fell off the horse. He's the biggest cat I ever seen. Bigger than you'd dream.
And a man killer. Ain't often they'll jump a man unless they're wounded.
He'd have finished me if you boys hadn't come up. I'll never forget it. So heavy I couldn't move to fight him off.
We gotta get that killer cat. He's gotta be stopped.
The boys were excited and upset. The boss offered $100 to the cowboy who could bring the killer cat in, dead or alive. Bob knew this was the chance he'd been waiting for to get the money to marry Polly. Then he got another piece of news that put him even more on edge.
Hey, Maverick! Maverick, have you heard?
Heard what?
There's a man in the house talking to the boss. And he's ready to pay another $100 for that killer cat alive.
He wants that lion alive? Is he crazy?
Like a fox. He's heard how big this cat is. He aims to put it in a show.
$100?
Yep.
Well, that means that cat's got $200 on his ornery head.
Just exactly the amount I'm needing to marry Polly.
Well, after seeing the way this kitty cat clawed Sandy, I wouldn't be too anxious to take him alive.
Well, once I get a rope around him, I wouldn't fear him none. I aim to track him down tonight. You coming along?
Oh, well, sure, if you want me.
No, you go with the understanding that the lion's mine to take.
Listen, I ain't eager to take him off in your hands. I just go along for the ride. That killer's yourn.
Maverick and Bob saddled up. Just as they were about to leave, Polly came running toward them.
Bob! Uncle just told me you mustn't do this.
Do what? Maverick and me just taking a little ride.
You're going after that cat, the one that mauled Sandy.
Well, now, if we was to happen to run into him, I might just drop a rope over his ugly head.
Oh, you're doing it for the money because of what I said.
That cat's worth $200. That'd marry us proper, Polly.
Don't, Bob. Forget what I said. I'll wait. I'll wait as long as you like. Only please don't go after that cat, please.
Here now, what kind of talk is that for my bride-to-be? You act like you got no confidence in high-chin Bob.
You're going to try to take him alive?
Well, he's worth twice as much alive.
I can't stop you?
I don't figure so. Now, I got my heart set on lassoing that critter and collecting the money and the glory.
Well, then will you be careful, Bob? Promise?
Careful as a cat, Polly, or even carefuler. Come on, Maverick, let's ride. We mustn't keep our little pet waiting.
Good luck, Bob. Good luck.
After hours of fruitless searching, Maverick grew tired and started to doze in the saddle.
That's the way Sandy was dozing when the cat jumped him. Hey, Maverick.
Bob!
Come on.
Bob, stop that, would you?
Sorry to bust into your dreams, but I got me a notion from the way this horse of mine is a-dancing that we may not be too far away from that killer cat.
Yeah, mine seems a mite skittish, too.
Maverick, why don't you ride a little ahead? And if the cat starts to jump you, I'll have him.
Now, hold on. I didn't come out here with you just to be used as bait.
I won't let him touch you. My rope would be around his neck before you're in anything.
Now, I know you're a fine roper, Bob, but, well, after all, it's my neck you're sticking out.
Maverick, I don't have to tell you how important this is to me. I've got to get that cat and get him alive. Now, will you help me?
Well, all right, but if you miss, I'm counting on a first-class funeral.
I'm not counting on any funerals. I got me in mind to go to a wedding.
You know, this horse of mine sure acts funny. There's no mistaking that.
I tell you, it's the cat. Now get moving, Maverick, before he changes his mind and makes a run for it.
All right. Well, here I go. Get your rope ready?
My rope is ready, and I'm right behind you.
There was a big clump of trees near, and it stood to reason that if the cat was near, he was up in one of them. Closer and closer they rode. Just when they thought they'd been wrong about the trees, the cat struck.
I got him! Never hold him, Bob! Cut him
mountain lion was huge. It went crashing down the slope with Bob's rope around its neck. Bob followed after it, yelling all the way. Maverick, unable to keep up, stopped and waited until he heard them come back his way. He raised his rifle and aimed to finish the cat and save his friend.
No, don't shoot him, Maverick! You're crazy! I gotta kill him! I'll keep this galley round the horn till Judgment Day, but I'll never turn loose of this cat!
5 times High Chin Bob and the mountain lion raced around Maverick, and 5 times Maverick raised his rifle. But High Chin Bob wouldn't turn the cat loose. Maverick rode back to ranch headquarters and told everyone what was going on. They all followed Maverick back, but it took them a night and a day to find Bob and the lion. When they did, Bob still had his rope around the cat's neck. He was looking weak and wan, but still glued to his horse. Polly almost fainted at the sight, but she did manage to call out as they thundered past.
I can't give up.
Just stop, please stop.
No, I can't. I may not lay him low, but I'll never turn him loose.
For days they tried to get Bob to turn the cat loose, but he never did. They say many a night, in the Mogollon Mountains, you'll hear a sound that'll lift the hair right off your head in fright. You'll see a cow horse barrel by, with a mountain lion in tow. A ghostly rider, with his chin held high, still holds the rope. High Chin Bob is still wrestling with the killer cat. I hope you've enjoyed this story. For more like it, sign up for our email newsletter at theweeklyholler.com. You can also find The Weekly Holler on Facebook and YouTube.
From Hollywood, Family Theater has brought you The Legend of High Chin Bob.